Before this video begins, please do not send harassment to this content creator, as I don't even necessarily view this video as bad. This is a opinionated response to an opinionated response to a review. And realistically, I'm making this video not because I have any issues with the video that I'm talking about, but because I think this is a jumping off point that I can use to discuss my reviews, my intent, and how I view levels when I talk about them. So in this video, we're going to be discussing a video made by Root Beer Float Has a Pop, a YouTuber that seems to be a bit up and coming. The purpose of me responding to this video has nothing to do with me, tearing them a new one because they said something I didn't like. No, more so, I view this video as a jumping off point for me to discuss how I treat level criticism and how I view levels. Beyond that, I feel like this video fundamentally misunderstands what I was trying to say in my Dark Dimension review. Root Beer Float explains that in their eyes, critics often miss the point of the levels they're criticizing, not understanding the intent of the level, and therefore the criticisms they levy towards the levels they criticize do not align with what the creators are trying to do. Basically, the argument is that the criticism that people like me will levy towards levels doesn't often make sense because it either misunderstands or ignores the intent of the creator, and that oftentimes our criticisms literally do not work because of what the creator was trying to do. Root Beer Float then proceeds to present 3 bullet points explaining what the creators of Dark Dimension were attempting to do with their level, and then shows my criticisms and explains why they don't align with these 3 bullet points. According to Root Beer, the main goals of Dark Dimension was to be a Bloodlust-esque super buff, give it a deco update, and increase the storm visual. This leads to their overall criticism, which can basically be summed up by this clip.
When you understand what the vision for a remake like Dark Dimension actually was, you realize that dwelling on whether or not it captures the exact same intensity and progression as Black Blizzard is like judging a fish on its ability to climb a tree.
In art criticism, there's a sort of unspoken rule that is known as death of the author. Death of the author is the idea that when judging a piece of art, using the creator's intent is often fruitless and does not assist in evaluating the overall art piece. The reason for this is that creator intent and viewer interpretation oftentimes do not align. Death of the author basically states that when judging a piece of art, you should look at it as if the creator of the art is dead and has no input on their art whatsoever. And the reason for this is art should be about interpretation. Art should be up to the viewer to interpret however they like. I like to apply this rule to my GD reviews, and the reason for that is because my reviews are meant to discuss my opinions on levels and what I think they managed to succeed at, fail at, and overall what I get out of the levels. I don't necessarily care what the creators of the level were attempting to do. I don't completely disregard artistic intent, I just don't view it as that important to the discussion. Beyond that though, I do want to talk about how this video, ironically, misses the point of my review of Dark Dimension. A lot of the criticisms I levy at Dark Dimension are not necessarily me saying this level doesn't follow Black Blizzard beat for beat and therefore it's bad. A lot of my criticism is more along the lines of this level is worse than Black Blizzard, therefore it fails as a remake. And a lot of my talking points in the video are not necessarily me saying Dark Dimension misses the point of Black Blizzard, it's more me explaining why Dark Dimension is worse than Black Blizzard. It just so happens that a lot of the reason I feel that Black Blizzard is better than Dark Dimension is because Black Blizzard has better theming and progression than Dark Dimension does. And by Dark Dimension taking out all of the theming and all of the progression and just making it this kind of glow slop deco where the theme is just kind of thrown in your face, it's inherently going to feel like a less impactful level. Effectively, I can sum up my review as saying I get more artistically out of Black Blizzard than I do Dark Dimension, and that's basically what the whole review says. Looking at your 3 criteria, I believe that Dark Dimension does a bad job at being a Bloodlust-esque super buff because a lot of the ways this level buffs Black Blizzard are not very good. The example I used in my video being the Black Orb staircase thing, where they took a part that was really cool in Black Blizzard, being this staircase part, and made it significantly worse by making it this weird Black Orb spam. I'm not arguing that it misses the point of Black Blizzard, I'm arguing that this is worse than Black Blizzard. This is not as cool, this is lame, and whether or not this is the intent of the creator, whether or not this is what the creators of Dark Dimension wanted to do, if it's what they wanted to do, then I do not like what they wanted to do. The deco update thing, yeah, I mean, I had a throwaway joke line in the video where I said something along the lines of like, oh man, this level is technically impressive, but I don't want to give it that. But yeah, this level has really good effects, but the effects, in my opinion, aren't actually utilized that well. Like, what are the effects actually adding to the level? Pardon me for being crass here, but a lot of these effects just feel like the equivalent of polishing a turd. It's not like I care about deco, but at the same time, if your level is focused around decoration, I feel like your deco needs to do more than look pretty on a surface level. You can't just take a level like Black Blizzard that everybody knows and loves for its insanely deep theming and progression and make a deco update that's hollow and just looks pretty. You're making a worse level. That's the argument I'm making here. As I said earlier, yeah, the effects are impressive and look pretty, but they don't add anything. It just ends up ringing hollow. As for the third point of they wanted to add more storm visuals, me talking about the theming and how Black Blizzard's better because of its progression and how it slowly amps up the storm over time, that's not me saying that Dark Dimension missed the point of Black Blizzard. That's me saying that the point of Dark Dimension is inherently bad. Taking a level that's known for its progression and throwing away the progression, that's not good. This is why I had that joke line of Dark Dimension being the Lion King 2019 of remakes. Lion King 2019 being a movie that presented itself as a shot-for-shot remake of The Lion King with more realistic visuals, but then providing a worse version of the experience by making the writing worse, the story worse, and in some cases, the visuals being worse. But my overall point with all of this, and the reason I break these 3 points down like this, is to say that it's not that I don't know the creator intent, and it's not that I'm misinterpreting the intent of the level, it's that I don't give a shit about the intent. Because in my opinion, Dark Dimension failed at the moment of conception. This is just a rule of thumb, and I'm gonna end the video on this note, but a rule of thumb is generally for me that if a remake provides a more dull or hollow or lesser experience than the original, it probably failed as a remake. I should never come out of a remake saying, man, I think I like the original better. And as I said at the beginning of this video, don't go harass Root Beer Flow over this, because I think that the response video is something I'm actually kind of glad exists because it allowed me to talk about my intent when criticizing remakes a little bit. Death of the Author is something that I feel like GD community members need to be more willing to employ, because at the end of the day, these are levels that you are meant to play, and therefore the creator's intent means nothing if you still do not enjoy the level despite the creator's intent. Hence the importance of Death of the Author in the first place. Death of the Author exists because your experience with an art piece matters more than the creator's intentions when creating that art piece. And with that, I think I'm gonna end this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Root Beer Flow, honestly, because I may disagree with your video, but it was an interesting video to discuss, and yeah, thank you for watching.